One of the 7 wonders of the modern world celebrated its 100th anniversary earlier this month, and though it's just 48 miles long, it shortened the voyage from New York City to San Francisco by nearly 8,000 miles. Indeed, the Panama Canal forever changed the flow of maritime traffic around the world. Now, historically, to get from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean, mariners had to navigate around the tip of South America, the dangerous Cape Horn, which was littered with shipwrecks. Though Spain's King Charles actually suggested building a canal across Panama in 1534 as a gateway to the silver mines in Peru, it wasn't until the 1850s that the U.S. built a passage across Panama, a railroad. Though trains were fine for passengers, they couldn't compete with ships for large volumes of cargo. Now, Panama's climate makes a huge project like a canal very challenging. The country is tucked between 7 and 10 degrees north latitude, firmly in the tropics, with average highs in the low 90s year-round, average dew points in the low 70s most months, so no escaping the humidity. As for rainfall, January through April averages less than 3 inches per month, but the rest of the year is wet, August through November, all averaging more than 8 inches. Despite the climate, France began work on a canal near the railroad in the 1880s, but abandoned the project, but not before more than 20,000 workers died from disease and accidents. Deep excavations in rain-soaked terrain was a recipe for landslides, while mosquitoes flourished in the humid jungle, spreading malaria and yellow fever. In 1904, the U.S. took over the Panama Canal project from France and brought in more than 100 huge railroad-mounted steam shovels, the 20th century update to the original that was patented by Pennsylvania engineer William Otis in 1839. These behemoths would excavate 170 million cubic yards of rock and dirt in the next 10 years to finish the canal. That's about 125 Empire State Buildings worth of material. And it would have been a lot more had engineers not designed a system of locks to raise and lower ships to and from a large man-made lake 85 feet above sea level. Also critical to the project's success was an eradication program for mosquitoes. They had just been identified as carriers of malaria and yellow fever. Still, the tropical climate and rough terrain led to more than 5,000 worker fatalities from accidents, landslides, and disease. The opening of the Panama Canal on August 15, 1914, actually got very little attention because war had broken out in Europe a few weeks earlier and dominated the news. About 1,000 ships used the canal that first year. About 13,000 use it annually today. Currently, the canal is being widened and another lock added to speed things up and allow larger ships to pass through. And some competition may be on the way. A Chinese firm has been granted permission to begin building a rival canal across neighboring Nicaragua as early as later this year. Paul Knight is back next with the extended forecast.